Today on Sports Talk, we'll recap an exciting season of cricket here in McKinney ISD. April Fools! Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Tyler Sloan, and I enjoy April Fool's Day way too much. Cricket's not a UIL sport, but what is a UIL sport is soccer. And the boys are underway in the playoffs. All three McKinney ISD schools made the playoffs, and only two are left standing. Whose season marches on? That's coming up next on Sports Talk. No joke. Lions had a great season moving up into 5A. They finished second place in their district. I'm joined by their head coach, Alan Pocock. And coach, they really exceeded your expectations coming to this district, you know, the upper level of play with some more quality opponents, but they finished second in the district, 5 wins, 4 draws, only 1 loss, and that was the district champs, Boyd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I think maybe many other people were even shocked to see such a smooth transition into not just any 5A as we discussed earlier, but a very talent-laden hotbed of soccer players in the Plano 5A district. And I couldn't have scripted a better the way the season went in getting acclimated to the kind of soccer compared to our previous 4A district that this district had, and gradually improving throughout the season into being actually just 4 minutes away from winning a district championship.
Yeah, in those 2 meetings against Boyd, the first one you lost 2-1, but until the end of that game, you were leading 1-0. Seemed like you're going to have that game wrapped up as well. Talk about not only giving up the lead and eventually losing that game to Boyd, but then coming back at the end of the season to beat them 3-2.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic. 2 of the maxims throughout the season, at the very beginning, we really stressed. Almost made it to our T-shirt. Was first of all, man, guys, we are never, ever, ever going to give up. No matter what the situation, we're going to make sure that it is an 80-minute plus fight. And second of all, there's always time to score a goal. We're going to keep reminding ourselves that there is always time to score a goal. And unfortunately, that worked in Boyd's favor the first match when we were leading 1-0 with 4 minutes left, and 2 dead ball plays that they put away for the win. It certainly fired us up and got us motivated for senior night when they came to play us. And any question about whether we showed up to play and get those points back at home were answered 21 seconds in with that goal, and then to be up 3-0 with 20 minutes left in the match. I have to pinch myself thinking that I think everybody agreed Boyd really just about walked away with that title, but against the district champ, out of 160 minutes, we were beating them for all but about 20 out of those is unbelievable. And I really credit the guys for raising their expectations throughout the year and improving week to week and closing out the regular season, coming back from spring break with a 2-0 win against Allen. After that got moved from Ford to the giant new Money Bowl down there, down the road on their senior night, to coming back on our senior night and holding out for a 3-2 win there. Just terrific. And then to get that monkey off your back of the first round game. A lot of coaches, we were talking about this at our meeting last week, just how difficult the first round game is, because very often it's won by the first team to settle down and play. And back-to-back games, close out district and then come out first round and score within the first opening minutes is a great sign, that you have settled and you're ready. And the boys were It wasn't a false lead. There was no relaxing after it. These are against two very strong teams. Most coaches in the Skyline District, 9-5A, agreed that actually Skyline's probably the most talented team in that district. But Lake Highlands and Jesuit finished out above them. And I think that we were in a playoff mode for weeks during district, whereas in previous 4A districts, we'd have the district title wrapped up with 2-3 weeks left, and finding different motivating factors to see things through to the end, and then just really playing for an undefeated season, so to speak, and not really kept in that sharp playoff mode has cost us several times in a first-round exit, even after being undefeated district champ, unfortunately. And seniors were really motivated by, no, we're going to make our mark this year, no first-round exit, let's see this through. And yes, the ego of getting that championship trophy for district certainly is loud and strong with us, but when I look at the road that I think we have to take to get to the regional tournament, I think we match up a lot better in the lower bracket than if we finished champion in the upper bracket.
And sometimes it does work out that way in the playoffs. You get maybe a slightly better path, even if you're not the district champ. It doesn't always work out that way because you're playing different districts in different rounds. You beat Skyline 2-0 in that first round game, and you played at Plano's John Clark Stadium, where you lost the previous year to Wakeland in the first round. Now, obviously, you've played there in district against some of the Plano schools, but maybe not exercising the demons from that place, so to speak, but definitely a good lift to go to that place where you lost in the playoffs last year and come out with a convincing victory.
I think certainly, a coach has the perspective of more than just one season, and to me, it's just a familiar place that we've had some very exciting playoff wins and 2 disappointing losses. The first round last year, and then the year before we ended there in the 4th round. So in that year we had played. I think 3 of our playoff games were at Clark. The players, it's just more familiarity, and they had played there before, and I don't know if any of them were worried about having been there previously this season and tied Plano, and nobody certainly didn't mention it at all or anything like that. Why couldn't we play somewhere else? We were happy to get that opportunity to play there, and I wouldn't hesitate to play there again.
Mikey Swim really pulled the strings for you this year. My unofficial stats have him at around 16 assists for the year. Why has Mikey been able to have maybe a little freedom to be able to make some of those key passes?
I think the work that our defense does behind him, Andres and Tom and Matt and Sean. While certainly Mikey has on most nights more of a defensive assignment than Jerson does at center mid. Having the confidence to get forward at times while also direct set pieces is puts him in that kind of a role for that possibility.
You have a lot of different players that are up there in the goal tallies. You don't have necessarily the one striker that gets all the goals. David Soto had 6, Jerson Mendoza with 5, and Arsha Khalilian with 5 goals. Why have you've had a lot of different players been able to produce up front?
Well, we had 0 experience as far as forwards on this roster, and we had no previous seasons forwards coming out, even with those stats, it could easily be argued that there's no one particular forward that stands out as a finisher. And even to say our stats leader has 6-7 goals, we're talking about previous years where our stats leader really, it wasn't that impressive unless he had 20 or more. And most ever, London Woodbury, his junior year, finished with 38 goals. So when you're comparing that to a stats leader 6, and our goals per game average is dramatically down. But thing that I think factors in defensive stats, and I like our defensive stats, our steady reliability, and I would have been perfectly happy with the results versus stats. The stat that matters is did you finish for playoffs, and did you finish high enough, first, second place that you've got a good draw for the first round of playoffs. So, I think those stats indicate, what it's like to play in this district. Honestly, at our meeting, it wasn't like there was one particular player that stood out with a ton of stats offensively, I think it's because of the competitiveness of the district.
Yeah, I'd agree wholeheartedly. Going from that 4A district up to 5A, definitely that's the reason the stats are down, but you got the results, so that's all that mattered there. Playing Longview here in the second round. It's a Thursday game, 7:30, and you're playing at Forney Citibank Stadium. What do you see out of Longview in that matchup? They tend to score a lot of goals, I was noticing in the results.
Yeah, we scouted them as being different style than Skyline in terms of being very direct. Skyline moves the ball very well, very individually skilled. If they could push and probe and poke around while also being incredibly physical and using gamesmanship very well at times. Longview is more of a very athletic, quick, got a lot of team speed, very direct style of play. They apparently scored 2 of their goals from distance. I'm not just talking about outside the box, but we're talking about 25 plus yards, and a very one goal, very unlikely that anybody would ever take a shot like that. Was their winning goal. Yes, it came after Rowlett was reduced to 1 man, but there's kind of an X factor going with both matchups. Us having a terrific surge here of results that I think is the culmination of going through the process of getting up to speed, some pre-district success, and then getting up to speed and acclimated to this district, and then closing out with our best soccer to lead into playoffs, whereas and challenging and beating the district champ. Whereas Longview had the same kind of surge. Finished up by beating their undefeated district champ Rockwall, and then as the 4th place seed, knocking out the first place out of the Garland district, and be an interesting matchup. I think,
that's why I'd say the same exact thing. It's going to be a very exciting matchup. Coach, thanks so much for coming on the show today, and good luck to you moving forward in the playoffs.
Thanks very much.
The McKinney Lions soccer team finished the year with 5 wins and 1 draw in their last 6 games. Now they're going into the second round of the playoffs, taking on Longview Thursday at 7:30.